Dr. Landers, thank you so much for joining us. As we know, Buffalo Bills' Damar Hamlin was tragically hit during Sunday's game. But from a medical standpoint, what exactly happened?
Well, the working presumptive diagnosis is that he suffered trauma to the chest, which resulted in a chaotic rhythm of his heart, which stopped the effective blood flow, resulting in a cardiac arrest, lack of perfusion to the body, in particular in the brain, causing him to collapse. That is what we assume happened based upon the reports that have been thus far provided and what the images on the field appear to convey.
And what right now is his likely prognosis?
In general, Commotio Cordis, which is the technical name for this event. So in this circumstance, there is a rather rare and unique timing of injury to the heart by blunt trauma, which results in a chaotic rhythm, as mentioned. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with the heart. The heart, by definition, in this entity, is quite normal, and it therefore recovers, assuming that the rhythm can be reestablished. So with regard to an individual who has suffered this type of injury to the heart, by definition, the heart is normal, and by definition, the heart will recover.
How rare is this to happen?
So this is a rare event, given the number of persons who participate in sports, all the potential trauma and injury that could occur in a sports engagement or participation. It occurs very infrequently. Now, if you look at this diagnostic consideration, this diagnosis, it's rare in the sense that it doesn't happen frequently. That is to say, cardiac death, this sudden cardiac death doesn't happen frequently in athletes, but as a percentage of those persons who do suffer cardiac arrest during sports activity, it's likely to be one of the top three causes.
Talk to me, what is the recovery like, and what does that timeline look like? Will he be able to play again soon, or will it take a few months?
I can speak broadly about the diagnosis. So the American College of Cardiology has taken the position that sports can be resumed as long as the workup for other forms of cardiovascular disease is negative. That is to say, no other potential cause of this arrhythmia is identified. Then it's quite possible for the individual to return to sports, because this, again, is a normal heart, which just happened to be impacted in an awkward fashion at a very particular time in the cardiac cycle.
Is there any way that this injury actually could have been prevented?
Many of the persons who suffer this injury and this arrhythmia are actually wearing a protective device. So the protective device is in place when this injury occurs. Football players, lacrosse players typically wear protective devices, and that protection is often in place when the injury occurs. You could theoretically design a jacketing or protective device. However, it's logical and likely that that would be so cumbersome as to make the athlete less effective in performing their sport. But at this time, it doesn't seem to be that there is an effective prevention of this injury by wearing a particular device.
Are women more or less likely to survive this? Are their symptoms different than men?
I think that it's when you have the law of small numbers, when you have small numbers of participants, it's hard to make judgments because small numbers are subject to the randomness of the data collection. But theoretically, the answer is no. There should be no distinction between a man or a woman as to whether they're subject to this arrhythmia.